Live from West Michigan, WMI 5 News at 7 a.m. starts now.
Thank you for joining us for WMI 5 News at 7 a.m. I am Michael Mullet. First, starting up, FEMA opens recovery centers in West Michigan. FEMA is opening disaster recovery centers today to help residents affected by severe storms that struck Michigan in April. President Trump previously approved federal aid for residents in nearly 30 counties affected by storms between April 10th and April 21st. The storms produced 9 tornadoes and caused widespread damage and flooding across the state. 2 West Michigan locations will serve as disaster recovery centers starting today. Inspired Church in Fremont and Gunplain Township Fire Department in Plainwell. Federal assistance can help cover temporarily housing, home repairs, and other recovery costs. Daniel Bernardi, a public information officer for FEMA, said these centers are designed to make the process as approachable as possible. The deadline to apply for assistance is August 31st of this year. Neighbors on Grand Rapids Northeast side are raising concerns about a plan to bring a new multi-family housing development near Knapp's Corner. Neighbors near Knapp's Corner raised concerns about proposed housing development. In June, residents met with the developer on the project, BDR Custom Homes. They say the project that was presented would bring 200 new apartments and to a wooded area along Lovingwell Avenue. Residents living in the area say that they are worried about the changes the project could bring to the area, particularly increased traffic on an already congested road. Joe Engstrom, who lives near the proposed development, said the neighborhood has already seen growing traffic in recent years. Engstrom said he is worried about the increase of traffic from the development. Another resident near the development, Betsy Hernandez, has lived in the area for almost 70 years. She said the apartments, which would sit in a wooded area behind homes on Lovingwell Avenue near I-96, just doesn't fit the neighborhood. Hernandez said she also feels like the city is not listening to long-time residents. With plans in place and concerns raised, neighbors now hope the word out and work with the development group to reach a plan everyone agrees on. The Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office says the suspect of an assault is dead after a 10-hour standoff in Rose Township. Officers were at the scene near East Augusta Drive and North 46th Street around 4:20 p.m. on Friday. A woman reported a man in a nearby residence pointing a gun at her earlier in the day on Friday. When authorities arrived, the suspect's father met with deputies, telling them his son was experiencing a mental health crisis. The suspect exited the home, yelled at deputies, then retreated back inside. Authorities established a perimeter around the home as a precaution, and without the warning, the suspect fired shots at them with a rifle. No one was hit, and deputies returned fire while moving to cover. Additional personnel from neighboring agencies, including SWAT and hostage negotiation teams, were sent to the scene. For 10 hours, authorities tried to negotiate with the suspect, but he refused to exit. The suspect fired at officers again, causing them to return fire and strike him. Despite life-saving efforts, he was pronounced dead. Michigan State Police are investigating the officer-involved shooting with standard protocol. The KCSO deputies involved in the shooting were put on paid administrative leave. The Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office says it recognizes the loss of life, extending its thoughts to the family and all those affected. Coming up, we'll have a look at your weather. Welcome back. Here is a look at your weather right now. Here, get a look at the graphics real quick. Great when this light bulb goes up. There we go. I just slow the graphics real quick. There we go. I just loading up graphics real quick. We'll have fully loaded here shortly. Let's do one more final touch. There we go. Alright, so right now here, this is the current map at 7:08 on the Grand Rapids Radar. The latest scan at 7:07 a.m. here. Looking at models today, this will be using the HRRR model. Temperatures today, according to the HRRR model, by 8 a.m., temperatures will be already into the 70s. By the time we get to, let's say midday, it would be 85 degrees. By the time we get to the dinner hour, it would be about 90 degrees. Now we'll look at wind chills here in just a minute. But we'll be mainly in having our high temperatures in the low to mid 90s across most of the region. Most of our lakeshore counties staying in the 80s. Heat index starting as of now. Heat index currently 66 currently. By 1 p.m. we'll have heat index values up to 90 degrees. And by the dinner hour we'll have heat index values soaring into the 90s. Mainly for the eastern half of the state and northern parts, such up north or so in Sheboygan, Hillman, out of our viewing area. The highest temperature that we'll most likely see today is 96 degrees in Ionia County. Wind today, not too much of a concern, maybe not too big of a concern. Today, wind values will, the amount of miles per hour for our winds will be up to 10 today. Wind gusts up to 13 miles per hour. Cloud cover throughout the day. We're gonna be clear of clouds by 4 p.m. and for most of our area. We're gonna be staying cloudy for about through now in between, let's say 3 p.m. And there may be a little bit of a break in between those clouds, especially if you're in Kent County, Ottawa County, and to the south. You'll have a bit of a break. 12 p.m. By 12 p.m., Kent County and Ottawa County will be seeing that break. Muskegon County at 11 a.m. and south and these two counties 1 p.m. and the cloud cover starts to break up mostly down near the Kalamazoo area, and all clouds will be out of here by 5 p.m. Visibility not a concern as well. We'll be we'll be we'll have we'll be watching a little bit on in the Muskegon area here. Um, we're watching for right now, as of now, for a little bit of some visibility, decreasing, a little bit of some visibility decreasing as of 7 a.m. here, extending. You can see a little bit of a like smoke over here, like a haze color. Basically on this boundary. So this is in Newaygo County, Ottawa County. Oh, this is in Newaygo County, Muskegon County, Ottawa County, and Northwest. Um, no, probably the reason why we see some of this color, it's pretty much basically probably your average morning patchy fog where we see it usually dew, um, on the ground around this time. So yeah, watching some visibility starting to kind of decreasing, but it will be increased. We'll have no visibility concerns by 8 o'clock, which is the time we'll probably have this uploaded. So no big visibility concerns whatsoever. Let's look at reflectivity here. precipitation, most of our viewing area will be dry throughout the day today. And I need to remove these. There we go. Alright, so most of our day today will be pretty dry. Would let me get to this. Okay. Let's see. There we go. So yeah, most of our day will be very dry today. Let me get this map run back here. We may see a tiny bit of a lingering shower out of our viewing area, but that'll be breaking up once it reaches into our viewing area. So a tiny bit of rain up to our north here, but that shouldn't be too big of a concern. So basically, throughout the day, we'll be 100% dry. No precipitation expected whatsoever. Severe weather, no sign of that. Um, Now looking to current radar right now, you can see off to our north, there's all kinds of alerts here on the map. Off to our north, we have extreme heat warnings. Off to our east, we have extreme heat watches. In effect, haven't extreme heat warnings in the UP, heat advisories. These are based on on the National Weather Service's viewing area. So all of the Marquette viewing area is under extreme heat warning. All of Gaylord's viewing area is under a heat advisory, and all of Detroit's viewing area is in a extreme heat watch. The far eastern counties that we see here along this line are under an extreme heat watch, but I do expect for it to be a heat advisory across these counties here on this outline here. That is it for weather. For now, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Here we have more headlines for you right now. A baby was delivered on the side of a West Michigan interstate Wednesday evening, drawing a response from multiple agencies and ending with a healthy newborn. The birth happened where westbound I-96 loops into M6 in Kent County. Michigan State Police, Cascade Township Fire Department, and the Kent County Sheriff's Office and Life EMS all responded. Michigan State Police Trooper Bronson Matthew said the initial radio call raised immediate concern. When Matthew arrived, the scene was calmer than expected. They were The baby was breathing by the time Matthew arrived. First responders helped prepare the family to continue to the hospital with a healthy baby. The roadside delivery came in the wake of news surrounding a baby found at the Electric Forest Music Festival, a story that was on Matthew's mind when the call first came in. Matthew said parents in a similar situation should pull over safely, call 911, and help will arrive within minutes, he said. Kent County is well resourced for exactly those kinds of emergencies. looks like some of our graphics failed to load this one story here. Alright, now I got it. The graphics. No, there. The graphics are, just having trouble. Here. There we go. During our commercial breaks, we, update the headline bar down there. Alright. A man from Fremont was arrested after investigators said a breathalyzer test showed he was more than 4 times the legal limit for alcohol in his blood. When deputies in Nuevo County pulled him over, 4 children were riding inside his car. A witness initially reported the man to dispatchers after seeing him stop his vehicle in the middle of the road near North Baldwin Avenue and Baseline Road just before 6 p.m. on Thursday, July 9th. The witness said the man was standing in the road and urinating, according to the Nuevo County Sheriff's Office. Deputies found the vehicle and took the man into custody. A field breathalyzer test yielded a blood alcohol content more than 4 times the legal limit of 0.8% for drunk driving, per the Sheriff's Office. Also, the man's vehicle at the time deputies pulled him over were 4 children. Inside the vehicle, there were 4 children at the time deputies pulled him over. The 34-year-old was taken to jail and faces charges of operating while intoxicated, having open intoxicants in a motor vehicle, and child endangerment. Investigators did not identify him because he was not been arraigned on those charges. The sheriff's office reminded drivers that drunk driving is completely preventable. Anyone who gets behind the wheel after drinking or using drugs can have a life-altering impact on not just themselves, but others, said Sheriff Robert Minham. One man was killed in a crash Friday morning in Ionia County. It happened at the intersection of Jordan Lake Road and West Clarksville Road. Around 7:15 a.m. on July 10th, a sedan driven by a 64-year-old man from Lake Odessa did not stop at the intersection, which was the stop sign for West Clarksville Road, said the Ionia County Sheriff's Office. The man's vehicle slammed into a semi-truck headed north on Jordan Lake Road and came to a rest in the yard of a nearby home. The 64-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. The 45-year-old driver of the semi-truck was not hurt, according to deputies. Investigators said they do not believe alcohol or drugs played a factor in the crash. When we come back, we'll have 3 more stories for you. we have some news to break to you that happened Saturday over the weekend. Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, died Saturday night after a brief and sudden illness. His office announced in a statement released early Sunday morning. He was 71 years old. Quote unquote on the evening of Saturday, July 11th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away from a brief and sudden illness. The statement said Senator Graham's family appreciates the prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. End quote. No further details about the illness were released. Graham had recently returned from a trip to Kiev, Ukraine, where he met with the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Graham, who was most known for his hawkish foreign policy positions, mounted a brief bid for the party's presidential nomination during the 2016 campaign, and was later a vocal critic of Donald Trump and the eventual GOP nominee. He became one of the now president's closest allies in office, speaking with him frequently and becoming a regular presence on the golf course alongside Trump. As a member of the U.S. House in the 1990s, he backed policies aimed at isolating Iran and limiting its missile and nuclear programs. Graham was not married and did not have children. His closest living relative was his sister, Darlene Graham Nordon, whom he helped raise after both of their parents died. Well, thank you for joining us for WM5 News at 7. We'll be back tonight here at 11 p.m. for more news.